Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Menopause Made Easy with Tanya. I'm here with a wonderful lady that I have recently connected with, Beth Blackmore, and we are going to talk about our journey of really trusting ourselves to heal. You guys have heard me talk about this for decades, but we're just made up of cells. And what does that mean? Right? And how can we use our own power within our body, and light and a couple of other crazy things, to heal ourselves at a cellular level, because that's what it's all about. So I invited Beth on today because I want to talk about something you may or may not have heard of, but I have been looking at for probably the last 8 months to a year, and I've been hearing people talk about them. And I started trying them out, these patches, a couple months ago. And so we're going to talk about those. And I wanted Beth just to share her journey, her health journey, where she landed up where she is today. So welcome, Beth. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you so much, Tanya. I'm honored to be on your podcast. I love this.
Great. So let's tell everybody, like, I know you've mentioned to me you were in human resources and then you became a health coach and then you like what's kind of like a brief journey of your health? We'll stick to health for a minute
Yeah.
and then we can go on from there.
That's great. Yeah. So back in 2019, I feel like I hit some kind of rock bottom, and it might have been on the beaches in Cuba because that's where I took out my knee in a wave. Well, a wave took out my knee. I was hobbling around the resort for the rest of the vacation. And, I didn't realize at that point how overweight I was. I mean, I knew that I was overweight. I wasn't too concerned about it. I was a busy mom working in government. My boys were into hockey. I was on the treadmill of life, that I like to call it. But something happened to me on that trip. And then after, I realized I had all of these physical symptoms that were actually scaring the shit out of me. Like, high blood pressure, stiff and sore joints, skin and eye irritation, headaches, feeling anxious and exhausted all the time. And honestly, I was searching up these symptoms, thinking, okay, what kind of grave disease do I have? And it actually kept pointing me to insulin resistance. And
Mm.
I learned, okay, so what I'm eating and consuming is contributing to these wild physical symptoms. Like, I mean, right now, I feel like this is the most commonsensical thing. But back then, I just thought, well, yeah, I'm eating the standard Canadian, standard Western diet. Everybody's eating like this. Is everyone feeling like this miserable? And so I really started to understand that I actually became empowered with that information. Like, knowledge is power, but only if you implement it, only if you use it. And so I really started to implement my knowledge and change up my food choices, eating whole grain, like not whole grain, whole foods,
Mm-hmm.
like using food as fuel. And yes, I mean, I feel like deliberately, unfortunately, in this life, we are all distracted, we're all busy. There's not a lot of time to take care of ourselves and really get back to basics, but that's exactly what I did. I started, pre-planning my meals. I started eating, good quality food, organic food when I could, a lot of, whole foods and good veggies, and a lot of great protein and good quality fats. And things really started to shift. It was amazing. And so it wasn't really the weight that I was concerned about. It was these physical symptoms and feeling so crappy that I wanted to change. And I started to get empowered and feel like, oh my gosh, I have control over my body. I have
Mm-hmm.
control over my health. And it was just a really deliberate, conscious decision once I became conscious of what I was doing to my body, that, oh, I have the power to get out of this situation. And so the weight did start to come off. It was almost like a byproduct. I started feeling better, the cankles and the the swollen joints and all of that, it just kind of melted away. And I also no longer felt like I was a slave to my food and having, snacks in my purse all the time, that I was having these good quality meals where I was satiated and not having these, blood sugar highs and lows. And it
Mm-hmm.
was empowering. It was amazing. So I feel like this was my first awakening, understanding how we've been programmed, unfortunately, and conditioned in this life to eat a certain way, live a certain way. At that time, I had been working 23, well, at that point, it was probably more like 20 years in the HR profession in high tech, private sector, also in government. And so, I mean, the other part of my story is, when COVID came around, so I had lost 60 pounds,
Good for
by the time
you.
COVID, thank you. Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, I feel in one way super proud of myself, and the other way I feel like, how the heck did I let myself go like that? But
Hmm.
there's been a lot of things in my life that, I've definitely suppressed or, stuffed my feelings with food, as they say. And, just the conditioning and the addiction, unfortunately, with
Mm.
the standard Canadian diet and the addiction of sugar. So that was my vice. But I became conscious and I empowered myself and got out of that. But when COVID came around, I was a little bit nervous about what was going on. And I quickly, had these questions about, well, what's going on here? What's really going on here? And how many people are really sick? And I really started to question. So about, July of 2020 is really when I became conscious of the whole, I guess, propaganda machine, I would say, around
Hmm.
COVID and understanding what's going on here and the fear factor. And I also attribute the fact that I was awake and conscious to the fact that I was no longer poisoning myself and with these chemicals in the foods that I was eating. And I had
Mm.
this clear head to see what was going on. I also felt, okay, Beth, you've empowered yourself, you've lost the 60 pounds. You can do this. And it gave me some confidence and some self awareness, some self identity that, to trust myself, to trust my instincts, to trust
Mm.
my God given mind. And, in HR, unfortunately, during that COVID era, we were inundated with a lot of information that, I had questions about. So I made the decision that I was not going to disclose my private medical status when my employer asked me, for an update on my vaccine. And so off I went. I was placed on leave. And so for 5 months, I was on leave. And during that time, I thought, I want to do something with my life. It's not going to be in government, it's going to be empowering others the way I've empowered myself. And so I did. For those of you, I don't know if your listeners are familiar, but Jason Christoff has been an amazing influence and coach in my life. And I ended up doing his program, Freedom from Self Sabotage, and
Mm.
became certified as a coach. And really, because I understood the power of the mind and, the subconscious mind, and how, 95% of our life is really controlled by our subconscious mind that we're not even conscious of. And how did we get there? And, societal conditioning, childhood conditioning, the media, the entertainment, all of this is really kind of how we are formed and live our lives. And so when I realized that, and also with my own health journey, I thought, okay, I want to help people understand the power of their mind, and that it's not their fault, and that they can also, change up the trajectory of their life. And if I can do it, other people can do it. And so I became a health coach. I became a health and empowerment coach, really to help people understand the power of the mind. And so
Mm.
I've run group coaching programs. I've won, one-on-one, having one-on-one clients, going through this whole journey of understanding, because I think first off, it's really understanding how we got here, how we got to our current state,
Hmm.
and then making this conscious decision to change it, and then being committed to that choice. And so I've been able to help people, through their own health journeys. And this has been a huge breakthrough for me. I mean, going from, government and, not obviously having an entrepreneurial background or a business mind or an entrepreneurial mind, this has been a huge step out of my norm. And so a lot of, coaching, I've worked with many coaches and, different masterminds, and just a lot of great resources out there to help me, because unfortunately, we're not encouraged, I don't think, to follow our passion and to monetize what we might be good at. It's really
Hmm.
about, when I worked in HR, it was all about valuing someone for their credentials, for their education, for their experience. Well, um, I don't think so. I think people really need to leverage and be encouraged to do what sets their soul on fire, what they're passionate about, and then hopefully can monetize it because unfortunately we have to pay for living on this earth.
Yes.
So so
You know,
yeah, it's just been a wild evolution, and I feel like, I'm still reinventing myself. I'm still learning, and I'm open to learning, which I think is so important. Being open to learning what we don't know. I believe that there is so much that is hidden from us that we're not aware of, and it's exciting. It can be exciting. I think other times in my life, this all would have felt super intimidating and overwhelming.
hmm.
And I just think, we all have this inner power inside of us that we need to really follow.
Wow, what a story. So many things came up for me. I hope I can remember all of them. But, from someone who was not in the health and fitness industry, I love that, you go about your life, you're with your kids, you're with your job, and you're eating what you are really told to eat, right? What's on the
Right.
stores is supposed to be healthy for you, and there's vitamin D added or whatever it is. And then one day, like you said, you just wake up and you go, oh my God, how did I get here?
Hmm.
Right.
Hmm.
And, it really, I hate to say it. I don't know if I want to use the word brainwashed, but we're definitely programmed to think certain things about our health. Like one is that we can't do anything. We need somebody else to tell us how to heal ourselves. And I believe that
Yes.
we can heal ourselves. I believe we have our beauty is, or sorry, our body has an innate intelligence, but you have to remove the noise. And so if you're not eating whole foods, and again, listen, I am not a purist. I am not like organic all the time. I really balance living my life. I think there's something you have to find in yourself, but I definitely know I don't typically eat the packaged foods, fast foods. I've moved through all that. I was a sugar addict too. I still eat sugar, but not how I used to. I was an emotional eater. I've learned how to deal with my emotions, but you have to take responsibility. Information is one thing, but putting information into action, which is what you did, is that empowering place. And
Yes.
the journey, not a weekend. It's not a quick fix. It's really
Right.
investing in your health. And like you said, I don't think there's an end because the amount of information that we're learning now, like I have been working on fascia stuff for 15 years, but not really knowing what I was doing at the beginning. And then 10 years ago, only in the fascia world, in the medical system, has it become more like they're studying it and they're finding all new stuff all the time, right? So it's
Right.
our bodies are magical. And then, as I've mentioned to so many of you, and in my book, that we are cells. We are just made up of cells. We have 37
Hmm.
trillion cells. We need to look after our cells because they are the smallest living units of you, right? And we need to take care of these cells in our body. And I'm learning more about cells and how they emit light and photons and how we are such an evolutionary mismatch for how we're living. And again,
Hmm.
I look back and I'm like, I was totally programmed for certain changes that happened, but now I've opened up some curiosity, some questions, and when you do that, it's exciting. Like
Yes.
to take that in and be like, oh my gosh, I even feel more empowered that
Yes.
I'm in control of my health and my mind. And like you said, living from your soul, your passion,
Yeah.
right? And oh, I love that. That's just beautiful. Thank you for sharing your story. That's just great. I love it.
Awesome. My pleasure. I haven't done this in a while, so I'm super excited to share it.
Yes. So then what happens? So you get to a point where you clean up your diet, right?
Hmm.
And you find like, oh, this is interesting. Okay, I'm feeling I have more energy. I'm having more clarity. I'm actually thinking better because, I tell you, honestly, everybody, if you're not eating nutrients, okay, if
Hmm.
you're not eating nutrients in your food, you're not feeding your brain. And when you don't feed your brain or your cells, you cannot think
Yeah.
differently. And I really hope people understand that. And then you have your movement piece, right? So there's about moving our body and creating this piezoelectricity in our body and this just adding movement that we don't move like we used to. So we need to be more intentional. And that can be walking.
Hmm.
I do so much fascia work. Oh my gosh, I'm not going to even dive into all the fascia stuff, but there's all this kind of move. Then there's the breath. So many of us are not even breathing properly, right? So you just pick something and start with it. But as you're going through all these layers, what else started to happen in your life? So you're adding all this stuff in. What happens
Hmm.
next?
Yeah.
I'm curious.
Yeah, I love this. Okay, so I feel like, food was the first thing. And by the way, I mean, I did lose the 60 pounds without a whole heck of a lot of movement. It
Hmm.
really was my food choices. And that's what I just kind of dialed into because that was really consuming my life. I was relearning, I was inundating myself with all of this information and recipes and meal planning and getting everything airtight, which was exciting. It was honestly super exciting.
Hmm.
And then what happened is, so the alcohol, like, I mean, not that I drank a whole heck of a lot, I mean, I did in my younger days, but when we go out and we're socializing with people and I mean, it's very normal to drink. It's not normal not to drink, right? It's like you
Hmm.
have to come up with some excuse of why you're not having a beverage. But with the sugar cravings that I ditched, I no longer had this urge for alcohol at all.
Mm.
And, I used to love a full-bodied Cab Sauv red, and I no longer crave that at all, and I didn't, soon after I started making these changes. And then, I'm like, what's going on with me? Like, even I wouldn't, like, it does not it really does not um jive with me at all. And not that because not only am I feeling crappy after drinking, but I just
Mm.
don't have those cravings. It's wild how, the sugar craving goes, and so does your craving for alcohol. And
Yeah.
you're wanting to feel so much better. You're
Mm.
not going to be able to keep that up with even just, casually drinking.
Yeah. You know what? I love this because a lot of people think it's willpower. And when
Hmm.
you understand that it's not willpower, it's
Yeah, it's
your
your body.
chemical reactions of the inputs that you're doing.
Yes.
The other stuff just leaves. Yeah, I haven't drank in over a year now. I made a
Yeah.
decision just to stop drinking completely. And
Yeah.
again, I didn't have an alcohol problem, but I
No.
had a one glass sometimes led to two, but I could go a while without drinking, but then I have like, I have to work on my binge tendencies. So I just said, nope, I'm going to clear my system. And oh my gosh, it's been a very interesting experiment. So
Yeah.
yes. So there you go. So alcohol kind of came into the picture.
Yeah, so that evolved. And then I thought, okay, coffee. All of a sudden, coffee wasn't making me feel so hot. And I'm like, I'm going to ditch it. And I kept hearing, different things. And Jason Christoff talks about, caffeine is not great and it kind of shuts down our limbic. And so I thought, okay, I'm off coffee. So I have not had coffee since 2020. I mean, every now and then I'll have sips, but I'm not addicted. I don't feel like I need to have coffee to be a fully functioning adult like the rest of society believes,
Yeah.
and so anyway, I ditched that in 2022, and then I thought, okay, what else am I going to kick off the list here? Okay, so I had this horrible habit of picking my nails, and whether or
Mm.
not it was trying to calm my nervous system, I don't know, but I've never owned nail clippers all my life. I've just picked my nails. I've driven everyone crazy around me. And I thought, okay, my husband probably deserves not to hear this sound anymore. I'm like, I want some nice, beautiful nails. I'm not going to pick my nails anymore. Boom. I just, so all of these things, it was like this evolution. I thought, if I can do that, I can do this. If I can do that, I can do this. And it was just like, check, check, check. And then, getting into nature. So I love your background. I love the fact that I
Oh.
am such a nature lover. I am up here in Ottawa, Canada, and it's pretty cold outside. We have a ton of snow, but I love my nature walks every single day. I have to
Hmm.
get out into nature. And so that is a 5-minute drive for me because I'm right in suburbia. I'm bringing myself and my dog, he's not on a leash, out into the woods. And
Yeah.
it's like, the less people I see, the better. It's
Yeah.
beautiful, because I talk to people all the time. I love people, but I also need that isolation time in the woods with my trees. and it's just beautiful.
Oh,
Yeah, so that is something else I've incorporated. I've incorporated many other healthy habits. So, journaling and affirmations and meditations in the morning, sun gazing out my window. So even in the winter, every morning I crack open my window as much as I can, my bedroom window, take off as much clothes as I can, and expose myself to sunlight, to get those beautiful morning rays that are really going to set the pace for the day. Outside in the summer, I'm obviously grounding in bare feet and doing my lymph massage. I do that every day
yeah.
too.
My
And
God, we sound so similar.
I love it. I love it. All these habit stacking things. And
Yeah,
uh, yeah, the other thing I wanted to share too is during my health journey, because you talked about minerals and nutrients. Um, One of the things that I've been so consistent with and was a game changer for me. So, in addition to getting rid of the trifecta of ultra processed foods, the sugars, um, uh, refined carbs, and seed oils, vegetable oils, is implementing um, hydration. So,
yes,
really good quality salt. That is a game changer.
yeah.
It's
We
not
have
just
been
about
taught to
having
fear
water.
salt, right? We have
Yes,
been taught to fear
yes,
salt. I drink salt water every day,
yes. It's
right?
so
We make a
important.
salt solution. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. And that's a game changer. I mean, people think that they're hungry or they're craving or they're lightheaded and you're probably dehydrated. I mean, yeah,
yeah,
get off the bullshit food, but you want to have that good quality sea salt. It's not even necessarily the electrolyte powder. I'm talking about a good quality unrefined salt is a game
yeah.
changer.
We're not talking
Drinking
white
that throughout
salt.
the day. No,
No, not
no,
white
that's
salt.
right.
Like a good, there's
No.
a Himalayan sea salt. Do you use,
Yeah.
there's Baja, but you can't get that in Canada
Yeah,
without,
you can
you
now.
can.
You can
Oh,
now.
okay.
Yeah. But I
Okay.
use Redmond real
Yeah.
salt. That's the one I use. Baja Gold, yeah, and Celtic sea salt.
Oh, yeah, I
I think
can
that's
get
the
that
other one.
on. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a game changer. It
it
really,
is
really is.
because
Yes.
we are mineral deficient. So this is the other
Yeah.
thing with our food is that, call it the 1960s. You could eat one apple, like it was more nutrient dense. Now you need something
Yes.
like 18 apples to equal the
Oh,
same nutrient density. And so
awful.
this is a thing where people are like, you know what? We can just do what our grandparents did, but we live in a different world. So
Totally.
we have to implement different things. They were out in nature more. Now we have to be intentional about nature. They
Yeah.
had different light bulbs. Their food was more mineral rich. So now you have to start going, okay, I'm lacking minerals. How can I get more minerals into my diet? We're not
Yes.
outside as much. How can I bring nature into my diet? My food quality is deteriorating. How do I get the best food possible? And if I'm not getting the best food possible, how can I start to add in some of those factors into my diet? Right? So
Yeah,
good. Yeah,
definitely.
minerals are
Definitely.
so important. Everybody talks about vitamins, but
Yeah.
minerals are huge.
Yes, they are. And you touched on the light. I know we're going to talk about light a little more
Hmm.
in depth, but even the fact that we are in this modern age with our artificial light environment, that is dehydrating enough. So the blue light, the EMF radiation, that is dehydrating our cells.
Yeah,
So now more than ever, we definitely need to hydrate ourselves properly, and is not just with water and peeing it back out. It is
yeah,
like having those minerals in the water is what's going to draw the water and those minerals into the cells to keep your cells hydrated. So super important. I can't stress that enough.
yeah. Yeah, you know what it is? Again, it's not just the water,
Yep.
right? It's adding mineral. And then if you want to even get crazier, vortexing your water because we
Yes,
used to
structured water. I love
because
it.
we used to drink water that didn't go through all these angled pipes, and when they go through these
Yeah.
angled pipes, it takes out the vortex, the movement of water. So you can stir your water with a wooden spoon. You can buy. I have an MLM wand. You can
Yes.
do different things. So again, like this is the fun thing is the basic thing. Oh, I just went a little unstable here. The basic thing
Yeah.
is just start adding water, sea salt or Himalayan sea salt
Yes.
or something into your water. Then you can
Yes.
start to shake your water, twirl your water. Then you can start to learn more about intracellular versus extracellular, and it's just fun. I find it
Yeah.
fun.
Oh, it's so fun. And you know what we've just installed in my house now that we're talking about water? It's a Mia water filter. It's from, I believe, Australia, and it restructures the water, negatively charges it because all the water that's coming in, municipal water through those taps, it's stagnant, positively charged water.
Yeah.
Yeah, out in nature, it's negatively charged water. I mean, that's what structured water is. And so we have on our main water line coming into our home this Mia water system. And so every tap has this structured water. So whether it is, oh, my light just shut off. Whether it is, the bath water, the shower water, we're getting that structured water
Oh,
on
nice.
our organs, on the largest organ of our
Yeah.
body, which is our skin, which is super important too, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. No, you
I'm
can
just
go
gonna plug in
down
my water.
so many rabbit holes of
Sorry.
of cellular health. So let's just talk about, we talked about a couple of things where our cells, right, they don't break down randomly, right? They
Mm,
they respond to signals. So we're going to get
right.
into talking about some signals here, but they can be responding to like breakdown when we have too much stress. And again, most of us really, if you look at your life, you really have to do an honest evaluation of your chronic stress. We'll talk about that in another episode. I've talked about that a lot. But this artificial light at the wrong time, I've done tons of episodes on that. Poor sleep, we've talked about poor sleep. I'm learning more about sleep. It's amazing. Chronic inflammation, which is what you were feeling in your body and how
Yes.
that shifted. Emotional threats, which is very interesting. So we talk about cellular safety. Again, I've done lots of episodes on that. And nutrient confusion because for years, and I did a whole kids book when my kids were younger, where I say we are overfed and undernourished because your cells are not receiving the nutrients they need. So they're like, I'm still hungry. I'm still hungry. And when you start to feed your cells nutrients, your cells aren't hungry the same way
Yes.
anymore. And it shifts everything.
Right.
All right. So when we get into this survival mode with our cells, we go into like hoarding energy, where we go into conservation of energy. We go into slower repair so we don't heal as quickly as we used to.
Hmm.
Um, we have stiffness and pain and anxiety. And just look around everybody. Like so many people are in this state. We
Fight or
down,
flight.
yeah,
Yes.
fight or flight. We down regulate our hormones. We prefer fat storage over fat burning. Again, I have done so many episodes on those, so you can go listen to them. And then we prioritize short-term safety over long-term health. And
Hmm.
I'm all about health, as you are, Beth, where to be living our best life, we need health because then we can be creative, then we can be expansive, then we can be curious. We become into more of a balancing of a parasympathetic to a sympathetic state. So let's talk about how did you figure out, like, what was your next step in your journey when it comes to um, where you are now?
Yeah. So I was, bopping along as a coach and, have my website out, had some clients, had group coaching. I was about to launch a new app, like a new membership for my clients. So really, head deep in that. And then I had connected through a mutual.
Oh,
Am I
okay. So
frozen?
we met through a mutual friend. Sorry, something just cut out. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So yeah, we had a mutual business coach, this woman and I, and her and I reached, we connected through our business coach. And little did I know that she was with this company, LifeWave, and she reached out to me and said, "Would you like more information about this phototherapy patch?" And I thought, no, I don't. I'm just like, I'm concentrating on my coaching business. And, she knew that this was going to be a powerful tool in my toolkit as a health coach. And I thought, I don't want any part of that. That's not part of my story. I want to share and help inspire people with my story. And that's what I'm familiar with. And that's what I'm passionate about. That's what I can bestow on people for them to be, healthy and successful. Anyway, so it took her about 3 months. And finally, she got my attention because I was also working with another fellow coach who had gone through the same program I did, Jason Christoph's program. She was a former anesthesiologist in Canada that had left the system as well during
Is that
COVID. So
Dr. Rachel?
Dr. Rachel,
So,
yes,
yes. So
yes,
that's who I heard. And I was like,
right.
okay. Okay. I'm definitely
She's
doing this now.
Yeah, she is amazing. So super smart. But meanwhile, at that time, so this was in 2024, you know, kind of winter, spring 2024. And her and I were talking about reels, like how are we going to attract clients to our, that kind of thing. And it's funny, we were coaching each other on, getting out of the system and being entrepreneurs. And so I actually had invited her also to one of my group coaching calls because she knows all about quantum biology, circadian rhythm, harnessing the power of light, of sunlight, our artificial light environment, and how this can play a role. Because I was running a weight loss group coaching program at the time, and she was introducing all these concepts about leptin resistance and how this hormone of leptin is crucial, but it's all based on our light environment and circadian rhythm. And so
Yeah.
I'm learning, and so I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this is wild. This is another light bulb moment for me. And so I said, well, Rachel, Diane keeps talking about this phototherapy light patch. You should come on the call. And so the three of us were on the call. And Diane's talking to us about this phototherapy light patch. And at the time I thought, okay, this sounds kind of gimmicky. Like, how can this patch do all of these things? And what does it really do? And Rachel had the vision right away. She understood the science right
Hmm.
away and was super excited about it. And I thought, really? Like, I thought we were just kind of, going through the motions here. And so we ended up signing up, you know, pretty much right on the spot. And we were both concerned about our mom's health, and her mom, going through some congestive heart failure issues, and really being winded a lot. My mom with her knee pain and her sleep issues and energy levels. And our mom started seeing results right away. I mean, both, Rachel and I are fairly healthy, right? And we
Yep.
were thinking, well, what is it going to do for us? But Diane knew that this was going to be a powerful tool in our toolkit as coaches. And so luckily we started sharing it right away, because that's really when my belief built, was when, we put it was May of 2024, and my mom and I start patching the same day, and she's experiencing this lessening of her knee pain and knee discomfort. And she was going to see a physiotherapist 3 times a week. And that physiotherapist noticed that first week
Wow.
more mobility, less inflammation. My mom's not in pain. Her knee's not clicking in and out anymore. She's able to walk. She's able to garden, so all of these things are happening. And I thought, oh my gosh, I've got something, massive on my hands here. And honestly, the trajectory of my life changed again, because this was, another pivotal moment of getting into direct sales.
Hmm.
Because this was not something I was interested in at all. I
Yeah.
really wanted to do it on my own. I wanted to be my own coach, and I still am. I'm still a health and empowerment coach, but this is like a business in a box, not having to necessarily worry about a website and customer service and patents and research, and all of that's done for us.
Yeah.
We're marketing this amazing tool, and I feel like I can make more of an impact in people's health, in people's overall life with this patch than I could solely with my coaching career.
Okay, so let's
And so
back up
we,
just a
sure.
little bit here because oftentimes, so I know that a lot of people would rather take a pill than change their diet and exercise, right?
Hmm.
And
Yes.
and so sometimes, and I have said to people, you have to find what works for you. So I am all about natural and
Mhm.
I worked on my food and my emotions and all that kind of stuff, but I'm also always on the lookout for
Yeah.
what's easy for people. And
Hmm.
sometimes working through your emotions, peeling the layer of the onion, adding weights, changing your diet can be overwhelming. So you need a help up, right?
Yes. Yes.
And right. And so your mother, even say she, I don't know what her diet was like, but she was doing all the right things for her knee. And then how do you, again, so I don't know if you saw Beth, if you're not seeing this on YouTube, but my patch is on the back of my neck here. I'm like looking at this patch and I'm going, okay, just a minute. Nothing, you can explain it better than I can, but it's called, is it called um,
Phototherapy,
phototherapy?
photobiomodulation. is the
Yeah.
specific type of phototherapy. Yes.
Okay, so there's
Yeah.
nothing on the patch. There's no medicine.
Mm.
There's nothing going in your body. And this is why I was interested because I was understanding how our cells admit,
Yes.
emit light
Yes.
and that you can use the power of your own light to heal your body. And I was
I
like,
know. I
okay,
know.
I got to wrap my head around this one. I got to
Right.
wrap my head around this one. So my sister was feeling like she's got a lot of things. So I'm pretty healthy
Mhm.
and vibrant. My sister has a lot of things going on. So I said to my sister, "Let's do this at the same time, just kind of like you did with your mom."
Yes.
And the changes she has seen, like more energy. And when you have
Yes.
energy, you can start to make changes. So
Yes.
my
Right.
sister eats well. She doesn't move quite like I do, but she was missing the energy to
Mhm.
do some of the changes she needs to do. So I just
Right.
wanted to interject there for a moment because when you don't have energy, like my sister, I talked to her the other day. She said, Tanya, I said, how are you feeling, Teresa? She said, great. And she said, Tanya, I would have been in bed right now
Oh,
because
wow.
she has no energy. And she says, my life has changed.
I love that.
I
I
know.
know. I know. It's wild.
It's
So it
wild.
was so difficult for me to wrap my head around this too. And I thought, you know what? Why would I encourage people to take the easy way out? That, I was thinking, as a health coach, no, they
Yeah.
need to go through the grunt work. They need to
Yeah.
process their emotions. They need to understand the conditioning and the brainwashing that's been going on and switch their. So yes, right. That's a given, in terms of, but there are people that make no other kind of healthy choices and they put this patch on and boom, their life is transformed.
Yeah.
And it is by using the power of your own light. What I love about this is that, it's totally different. It goes against anything that we've learned in the conventional medical system, that we're not having to put anything in our body. We're not having to consume anything. Even this patch is non-transdermal, meaning that you're right. Yeah, there's no chemicals or medications or stimulants or anything on this patch. It simply acts like a mirror reflecting specific light frequencies back into the body to increase the holy grail of age reversal, which is known as a copper peptide called GHKCU. And there's 50 years of research to back up what all the benefits of GHKCU. So this is a copper peptide that's naturally occurring in our body, that's systemic, it's all over. As we age, unfortunately, it decreases. And so this is increasing the production of GHKCU. We know what GHKCU does. I mean, it has anti-inflammatory, anti-pain, anti-anxiety, even anti-cancer properties. It resets our genes, a third of our genes to a younger, healthier state. It increases our own collagen and elastin production. I mean, working with fascia, collagen is found all over our body. It's not just about our hair and our skin and our nails. It's actually what really keeps our body together, our organs, our fascia, our vascular system in place, and it's the master protein in the body. It also increases the master antioxidant in our body, glutathione, by 30%. So, I mean, there's a myriad of things that this GHKCU does, including increasing or activating our own dormant stem cells.
Yeah.
So as we age, so by the age of 30, I mean, we only have 50 or 60% of our stem cells that are healthy and active. And so by the age of 60, it's like 90% are
Gone.
gone and inactive. So what the GHKCU does and what the research shows is that it activates our dormant stem cells. What are stem cells? Well, they are the undifferentiated cells that can become any cell in our body, depending on where our body needs the support. But people are reporting, everything from their lung function and their heart function to growing thicker hair, going back to their natural hair color, their skin texture is improving, their spider veins are disappearing, their wounds. A lot of surgeons in the States, especially in the States, because I mean, it's fairly new all over the world. This X39 phototherapy patch was patented in 2020, so it's got a 20-year patent. So it is pretty new on the market. The company's been around for 20 years, but this is the only phototherapy patch that activates our dormant stem cells. But surgeons in the States are using this on their patients pre and post op because of the fast wound healing.
Yeah.
So there's just a myriad of what's exciting is that it's a myriad of benefits that people experience. So for my mom, she had this great experience with her knee pain. Well, then I shared it with one of my coaching clients who was not able to be active and move because she had this debilitating knee pain. So I said, Roz, you've got to try this. And so she did. Well, the first thing she noticed was 3 weeks later, her mental state, she felt like this weight had been lifted off her shoulders.
Mm.
I didn't realize this about her. It was a group coaching scenario. So, we didn't kind of get into the weeds, but she had dealt with anxiety and depression. Well, she called me up crying 3 weeks in saying, Beth, I cannot believe my mental state. And she goes, you didn't know this about me, but I've been taking anxiety and antidepressants and but then it was her knee pain that went away later.
Yeah.
But the body is prioritizing things. And so this is what's so exciting. There's just a myriad of different benefits that people experience. You never know when you might experience things or start to feel better. But I'm telling you, one of the first things people experience is energy and also better sleep.
Hmm.
That is when the healing and the repair happens. Sleep is so vital. So while these are daytime patches, you wear it for 12 hours during the day, it sets you up for a great night's sleep, vivid dreams. I mean, that was one of the things that I noticed right
I've
away. That was the
noticed
first
that.
thing I noticed. Yes, amazing.
Yes.
Amazing.
So this is something interesting because I always say to people, like if I take this to weight loss for a second, I always say to people, or even pain, just because you want something, you want to lose weight, doesn't mean it's going to happen on your agenda because of the cell's intelligence in your body. And until you're in a state of health, then your body can begin to release weight because it's not a top priority for your survival.
No, especially if you're in fight or flight
Yeah,
and the body is protecting you, right? It's keeping you
exactly.
safe, holding on to that weight.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
when you put a patch on and somebody says, well, because I have some friends who have some heart issues, and I said to them, so they're still thinking about it. And I said, you have heart issues and you have anxieties. I'm not promising you that that's going to be the first thing that happens because your
Right.
body has its own intelligence and it's going to use your light and it's going to maybe, I don't know, I'm making this up, go to your liver or your
Yes.
kidneys or your
Yes.
pancreas or your
Yes.
brain. Like I saw some pictures you showed me when I listened to a call about how the brain was re connecting.
Yeah.
And I just lost my stepmother at the age of 73 to mental decline. And
Oh,
I
I'm
watched the
sorry.
last 3 years and I'm just like, that is not. So that was a huge motivator for me to do this
Mhm.
patch, as well
Mhm.
as just I want to be vibrant and energetic for a long time.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
Yes.
I didn't need to come out of necessary any pain, but I'm always like, what can I do? Like, how can I positively affect my cells using my own light? And then
Hmm.
when I saw these imagings of the brain, I was like, oh my goodness. And then when I heard Diane talk about the heart, so she had some
Hmm.
heart stories, and I listened to Dr. Rachel, I was like, I would be a fool,
Yeah.
honestly,
Yeah.
not to do this. Like I'm like, I don't want to be missing out on this.
Right.
I can't be missing out on this healing that's going on.
That's right. Exactly.
Hmm.
Exactly. Yeah. It is
And
incredible.
can you mention about Diane, just her story? I think it was her
Yeah.
mother again, or her, just about the heart.
Yeah, sure. So she was a former cardiac surgical nurse, by the way, in New York. She's not sure what her body was fighting, but definitely around, the beginning of COVID, if it was COVID, if it was long haul, I don't know. Her body was fighting something. It was going through a healing process. That's what I like to call it.
Yeah.
But she was really struggling and being a healthy person and an athlete, she struggled and she didn't want to really take anything, conventional. And so she tried these patches. And so what she was feeling was, she wasn't able to take a deep breath. She had heart palpitations. This really affected her lifestyle and she was dealing with it for months. And so when she put the patch on, within 48 hours, she noticed a shift. And so she was able to take a deep breath. She no longer had any heart palpitations. She was back doing her Orange Theory hit training 2 weeks later. And so for her, it was like,
Mm.
really miraculous for her. And she what we would call as a one patch wonder, where yes, there are people that can feel a shift right away. And it's not to say that there aren't shifts going on, within your body, but you may not be feeling them, right? we
Yeah.
don't we don't feel getting into a negative or a
Sickness.
bad state
Yeah.
of health like that can take years, and we're actually only feeling when 70% of the mitochondria in our cells is dysfunctional.
I know. Isn't
That's
that
when the
crazy?
symptoms come out,
Yeah.
and that's when they slap a label on things and they can supposedly treat it. But think of all the time that your body is getting into that state. So yes, I mean, it takes time to heal. Some people, as I said, are one patch wonders where they feel a difference right away. It's not to say that things aren't happening. It's just you're not necessarily feeling what's going on in there with the liver cells, replenishing and reactivating because you've got a messed up or a fatty liver or whatever's going on. So that was her story. And she shared it with her dad, just like, we share it with our family, our parents. And he had sciatica. He had gout and plantar fasciitis. He found it hard to get out of a chair, out of the car. And so he was getting really discouraged by month 3 because he wasn't experiencing or feeling any difference. And so Diane just kept encouraging him. So at the time, he was close to 80, maybe 79 at the time. And by 4.5 months, his body shifted.
Mm.
He was, so now as an 82-year-old, I believe, he's playing racquetball against Diane. Him and his wife just went to Switzerland. They walked 40 miles on that trip in total. So this is a changed man. His life has been transformed. And yes, it didn't happen right away, but 4.5 months later,
That's
you know what
pretty
I mean?
quick.
Isn't it? Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I always talk about health span. So it's your health span, your longevity, your living your life, your vibrancy, your energy, your passion. Like it's not
Yeah,
age span. It's not a number.
that's right.
It doesn't matter to me if you live to be 105, but you spend the last 20 years in a bed. Like that's not living. Living
No,
is embracing life, like I just said, all of those things. So I did hear his story, and he is definitely a vibrant man. And I'll tell you,
yeah,
4.5 months is not that long in the scheme of things,
no,
especially at 80, when probably most of his stem cells were pretty dormant or inactive at that time. So
definitely, definitely.
yeah, the power of the cells, and when you start to understand light and your capacity to heal yourself, and you believe this,
Yes.
you believe that you don't need somebody to fix you. You
Hmm.
have your cells have the answers, and yes, sometimes we need to obviously do some things, right, to help
Yeah, yeah,
ourselves with this,
of
which is,
course. Yes.
so whether you're improving your eating, your exercise, but for me, I've done all those things. And listen, if I had found this patch probably 30 years ago, I would have started it then.
Yes.
So
Yeah, it's
very good.
exciting. It really is exciting. And, as I said, we're just on the cusp of this thing exploding. We're in 85
Five
countries.
countries. Hmm.
Yeah. And, it's been around for 20 years. This guy's got a great track record, but this is the most prolific phototherapy patch that he has come up with and that has been patented. And just the amazing story. I mean, it's really what the testimonials are telling, right?
Yeah.
Those are the stories that are selling this, and that's why this is going around and
So is it
selling
it's
like
Dr.
hotcakes.
Schmidt, right?
David Schmidt. So he's a
Yeah.
scientist, he's an inventor, he's not a doctor, but David Schmidt is the founder, the inventor of LifeWave, the company. And yeah, he got his start when he was actually contracted by the US government, and he went in to do, create something that was going to keep the SEALs awake and alert for these 36-hour missions. And that's when the first phototherapy patch was created back, in 2004. And then starting in 2008, he thought, okay, the future of medicine is going to be in stem cells. And so that's when he started researching stem cells. And, 10 years later, $4.5 million of his money, of his, pouring into it. And he comes up with this 20-year patent on the X39. And, what I love about it too is that, so we say it's non-transdermal, there's no chemicals, or you don't actually have to stick it on the skin. This is what's amazing, is that we all emit this low level infrared light, this
Yeah.
heat. And, when you get up from bed, right, you've got nice warm sheets there. Um, night vision goggles, right? We can tell we all emit this low level infrared light. Well, that low level infrared light can actually the patch can be activated by that low level light. Even if it's against your skin, or sorry, against your clothing. So you can put it in a pocket, you can put it in a purse that's attached to you, and
Mm,
it's still going to work. So if people are kind of hesitant, or even if they have some kind of allergy to the medical grade tape, these don't work because they're on your skin. They work because they're a certain distance away from your heat source, from your body. So I find this
oh,
amazing.
wait,
You can
but you
just
know
stick it
what?
on your clothes.
This is all so like it's also true because we have an aura field, we have an energy
Yes.
field around us. If you ever look
Yeah.
into, I think it's called Krillian technology. This is where they can take food and they can show you an apple and how it, is shooting out
Yeah.
energy, light, as
Right.
opposed to if you
Yes.
take a
Everything's
Twinkie.
energy.
Yeah, where you take a Twinkie and it's dead. And this
Right.
is what I'm talking about. This is what helped change my food a long time ago. Was I'm like, if you put dead food in your body, you are dead. You are
Yeah.
basically,
Agreed.
so it's not good. So then
No.
I always say to people, I like to know why. I really explain to people why things are happening because when you understand why, you get
Yeah.
it. So I'm not
Yes.
just telling you to slap a
Yes.
patch on, you're slapping it on because your own body
Yeah.
emits a light. And then you get to heal yourself in whatever order it divinely recognizes in your body
Yeah.
to help you. So, oh
That's
my
right.
gosh, it's just
Yeah, it is. It's
insane.
amazing. It's amazing. It's a gift. I
It's
feel it's
mhm.
a blessing. Yeah.
Now, why would people not do it? What are uh some resistance that comes up?
Yeah, well, I think just people, I mean, unfortunately, there's a lot of cognitive dissonance.
Yeah,
And, people are still outsourcing their power. Um, they're outsourcing their power to other people, the conventional medical system, the people in the white lab butcher coats.
yeah,
And that's hard for people to wrap their head around. And the fact that it's not on the TV, the fact that,
yeah,
it's much more socially acceptable to take pills and consume pills and not even know where they are sourced from. It's just, well, that's the way it's always been. That's what's been pushed on us. That's the norm. So people
mhm,
have a really hard time. Well, they have a hard time understanding that we are light beings, that we
yeah,
all emit light because we can't see it. Well, you can't see the Wi-Fi signals either, but you're trusting that they're working. So I don't know. I think there's a lot of cognitive dissonance. I think, a lot of people would think, unfortunately, because it's network marketing or a direct sales company, they poo-poo that because we've been conditioned to think, of course, that network marketing and MLM and direct sales is cringy. Well, I'm here to tell you that, yes, I was there at one point, but however, I feel like I was part of a conglomerate, a pyramid scheme working in the government. That is a pyramid scheme. What I love about this direct sales is that, the time, energy, and effort is really how you're compensated. So the time and energy and effort that you put into it is what you're going to get out of it. And I love the fact that people come in at the same level playing field. So I don't have any experience in direct sales, but I'm loving it and I'm super successful. I've been able to replace my income in government. I've been able to, and then some, and it's just going to grow and grow and grow and grow. And even there's people underneath me. Dr. Rachel's on my team. She's a powerhouse. She's never done direct sales, and she's leapfrogging above me because she's who she is, and people are drawn to her.
yeah,
And what I love too is that we just have an amazing team. We have an amazing leadership team that want to help us to win. It's all about personal growth. It is about reinvention. It's about our evolution. And so if we're open to that and open to dismissing and dismissing the poo-pooing of a cringy network marketing, there's so much opportunity here. I love it. We're building this amazing community of like-minded people that are open, that are curious, that want to better their lives,
yeah,
from a
and
health
help other
perspective.
people.
Yes,
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we have a passion for.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I was going to ask, because both Dr. Rachel, she left her
Yes.
job,
Oh yeah.
and Diane was also in cardiac, and she left her job. So
She did. She did. Yeah, exactly. It
Yeah,
just it was, I think what was she she was the flu champion of the year one year and she's like I got to get out of here. So
yeah,
I think she actually in terms of the flu shot. So I think she actually got out before COVID and the craziness in New York. But
yeah.
yeah, I mean definitely someone that no
Oops, oopsie. Let's see if she comes back here. Oh, we have a little blip in the internet here. Are you back? Okay,
Yeah, I think I'm back.
okay.
I don't see it, but anyway, yeah, I guess I
Yeah,
was out for a bit. But yeah, I just think we're aware of the power of the body and what it can do and the self-healing properties, and we're open to new information,
perfect.
and yeah, this is gonna rock the world a little bit in terms of what this patch is all about, how our bodies work and how we're able to leverage the power of this patch with the light that we emit. It's
Yeah.
super exciting.
Very, very exciting. So
Yeah.
I'm going to wrap up today with just where people can find you and ask you one more question. And then I think we'll meet, like come on again in a little while and just talk about we've been talking about the patch X39. There are also other patches, but this is the one to start with at the
Mhm.
beginning. So
Yes.
that's why I don't want to get into the other stuff at the moment. But the group that I joined with you, is that
Yes.
open to whoever so they can come in and get more information, or do they need to
Yeah.
buy a patch first, or how
Well,
does
there's a couple of things. I mean, I run every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. I do presentation overviews. Everyone is welcome to that. So maybe in the show notes we can
Yep.
include, the Zoom link for that. Um, and yeah, so they can come on and learn more information, even at my website, bethblackmore.com. It's about my health coaching services, but I also have a page on light, on phototherapy, so you can check out more information there. And yeah, this opportunity, I mean, this is open to anyone. So in terms of, making a difference in your own health, and then if you're wanting to share that out, we would love to support you with that. And so anyone would be welcome to join this amazing team. It's the number one team in the organization right now. We are the fastest growing team. It's super fun. We're making massive inroads. So yeah,
Nice.
I invite you to come check it out and even reach out to you, Tanya.
Hmm.
I'd love for people to connect with you, and then, I'm always here to support you as well.
Yes. Yeah. So I will leave so you can, if you have questions, you can ask us, if you we're always open to chatting. Secondly, if you want to just jump in, because I like doing that, you can order patches and get started. Or you can also become like a brand partner where you can get a discount on the patches. And then when you share, you can make a little bit of money or a lot of
Yes,
money.
or a lot of money. Yeah,
So,
it's exciting. The
yeah,
the the yeah, exactly. It's super
yes,
fun.
super fun. Okay, perfect. Well, this has been beautiful. I've loved learning about your journey
Thank you.
and just the superpower of our body in healing,
Yes.
which we
Yes.
all, you guys, it's our gift. It's
Mhm.
Oh my gosh. I was in a place of really poor health for a long time. And I'm telling you, wow, does life look differently when you're
Yeah,
healthy?
I know.
So,
Amazing. It
yeah,
is amazing. And we all go through these journeys, and it's so powerful, when you look back to where you were, where you are, but also, the future and where this can go. And again, I know we talked about this before we came on, but just the power of being open-minded and curious,
hmm,
because that just opens up so many doors.
perfect.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for your time. Thank you, listeners, for listening today.
Thank
And
you.
if you know somebody who is in pain, has like physical pain, anxiety, depression, heart issues,
Mhm.
there are things that are happening in your body. I always say to people, you do not feel disease. Cancer is not an overnight diagnosis. It's a buildup of 20 decade or like decades. Mental decline, all of these things. So maybe, this is something you're like, wow, if I can start to heal myself at a cellular level and have the magic of my cells coming back online to heal my body, what would my future look like? Oh my
Yes.
gosh,
Yes.
right? And how can you help others that are in pain do something as simply as putting a patch on in the morning when you brush your teeth and then taking it off at night when you brush your teeth? It's that
Exactly.
simple, honestly. Any last words?
No, I just appreciate your time so much and appreciate you giving me this platform and sharing my story. I love it. It's amazing. So I so appreciate you and I'm honored to be here, Tanya.
Great. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. And we'll see you in the next episode. We'll just stop this.